Hello Cancer, I am Ulrich, I am a Roman card reader, but today we will do the financial philosophical card reading with a different deck for the sign of Cancer. As always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Cancer for the month of February. And these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you, on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check the other videos that are immediately connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. So Cancer, here we go for your card reading for February. Also, I want to add, if you have questions, you can always post them in the comments below. And of course, as soon as I have time, I will answer you. So Cancer, here we go for your reading. Hello Cancer, and welcome to the shell or the water group for your financial card reading, your psychological or philosophical card reading. The first card that we are seeing here is the card of creativity. What does this card tell us? Well, this card tells us that we live in a world where we can buy everything. If it's not in the store, it's surely online. And the current society, it also tells us that it probably suffocates our wallet and our imagination here. And sometimes we pay for our lack of creativity. There are some examples. For instance, if you're the son of the birthday of your son or of your daughter is coming up, or for a niece or a cousin here, and you need to, you have bought a present and you want to pack the present probably in a short amount of time, maybe in a few minutes, you could create a nice storage box with recycled materials. But sometimes we prefer to spend some time in the shopping mall around and move around and pay maybe a lot of money for packing certain presents. Anyway, if, for instance, our son or our daughter's birthday is coming up, with a little bit inventiveness, we could prepare a party for ourselves, bake for the son or for the daughter, prepare some cakes, some candy or whatever they like here. The children, we could have a lot of fun without actually have to settle for an astronomical bill. Here, this card tells us that originality, it's the order of the day here. So we should start thinking out of the box and think about your real needs. How could you change certain things? So think today sometime how you can stimulate your own creativity in order to or in relationship to your housekeeping. Maybe there are some things we can change here by being creative and at the same time save money. So here we are asked to make room for our imaginative spirit, not only in our housekeeping, but maybe it's also necessary in the office and in the management of the family in general. So this card urges you to go on that adventure. The next card that we see here is the card of good luck. What does this card tell us? Well, it tells us that money not necessarily brings happiness. Of course, we all need to admit that it's very nice to have a lot of money, to have enough money. According to Maslow's pyramids, we first need to meet our basic needs, psychological and security needs, and of course, after that, we aspire to self-fulfillment. This is true. However, we should also consider that the car of the year not necessarily is a part of our essential needs. Sometimes here this card tells us that we might confuse basic things with being at ease. Of course, it goes without saying that we all like to have more money, we like to travel more, we like to spend more. But the question with this card is asking us, does this guarantee your feeling of completeness? Does this complete your search to happiness? So this card wants us to take a break and think about our pursuit of happiness. This is what this card is about. Do you associate it with the standard of a king, or are you happy with a moderate life, or some people are even happy with a simple life? So it depends here. You need to differentiate yourself here. It depends what you have in your mind. Anyway, money is essential to meet our basic needs. However, once these are filled, our quest should not solely depend on the things that we see around us. This card tells us also to enjoy the little things in life, and mostly those little things or these little happinesses are already around us. Mostly we can find this in family members and the appreciations that we get from them. So maybe you already have your own happiness, maybe it's right around the corner there around you. And maybe this is the real deal. The next card that we are seeing here, this is about the card about debts. There are two kinds of debts. There are good debts and there are bad debts. We start with the bad debts. The bad debts are the debts on credit cards. We pay for something, and of course we see here if we pay for it, this causes that we end up below zero. We end up in certain credits or debits, and on these money, if we are below zero, of course we pay interest. So it means the article actually costs us much more because we don't pay it at full. And sometimes also it happens that a month passes or several months passes, and it means we pay a lot of interest. We don't have the bare price of the article anymore, but it increases the price of the article over the whole. Anyway, this card tells us if you have certain unpaid debt on credit cards, maybe here sometimes we pay high interests. If you have several cards, maybe one of those cards is very high for interests. You can mostly find this very easy out if you have a card in your wallet and it always gives you money, even though you're already very low below zero, and it keeps giving you money. Probably this is the card that charges you or overcharges you. Sometimes these cards are no longer business, they are sharking. This is sometimes this is close to crime. So here you should see if you have a credit card like that in your wallet. If you have one like that, you should get rid of it. This is a very quite a positive reading that we are having here. But if you have such a credit card and you see they overcharge you, try to get rid of that card because it's not beneficial for you. The positive side of this card is that there are also positive debts. Positive debts are the debts that we are having on our home, on our mortgage, because we deduct this from our taxes, but also the value of our property. In most countries, there's a lot of unbalance now. A lot of things have lost their value, but in general, property keeps its value, or land keeps its value. So if you have made investments in land or in property and you have some debts on that, in general, these are positive debts. So here we see that it's better to invest in things that are stable and that are upgrading themselves than we invest in our credit cards, or we think that we invest in our credit card, because your house, it will contribute to your wealth, but your credit cards, that's another question. Anyway, Cancer, this is all for the water group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you have interest in Lenormand, classic Lenormand card readings, you can find them. Also, they are oriented on work and business. And then also we have the philosophical spiritual card readings, who are very good guides in your life and where you can also extract a lot of information for the times to come. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, I thank you for subscribing. See you next time, Cancer. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Air group or the Aerosol group for your philosophical financial card reading. As the first card here, this is the card of acceptation. Maybe we are in a certain financial situation. Maybe we have spent a little bit too much. Maybe the scales are tipped a little bit in the wrong side here. Maybe you are the type that is always looking for promotion here, and we need to accept our situation for this today here. Anyway, we should realize here with this card that sound management of finances is imperative now. This not necessarily come from an increase of salary, but we should learn to live comfortably or well with the means that we have. whatever it is now, we can all aspire to the American dream of abundance and wealth. But here we should see that we should realize here that having a lot of money or spending a lot of money, it's not necessarily associated with happiness. It doesn't mean that it's not easy to have money. Of course, it's easy to have money, but it doesn't necessarily make you happy. Anyway, here we see also that we need to realize that there are always people that are better off than us. There will always be people who will have more than we have. But of course, there are also a lot of people, especially in current times, that have a lot less than us. For some people, it's even hard to have 3 meals a day now with the current situations that are put up on us due to the viruses around us. So it means there are also a lot of people around us who are a lot poorer. The bottom line is here, it doesn't matter what we earn that matters, but it's how we manage our source of income. Here we must make a very good balance. We have 2 times the balance here and the balance there, so it's 2 times the same or in the same line. We need to make a very good balance here between our income and our expenses. Whatever your income or savings might be, it's our actions here who determine if we have enough money or not. So improve your daily life with spending within your means. The next card here is the card actually of our payments, salary, and the balance that we make. Again, we have 2 times the balance here. And probably here this card tells us that you are in for promotion and you're waiting on an increase of salary. This is what we are seeing here. And probably you think about the possibilities that you have with more money, and also about the progress, because this is also the card of progress. You will make progress in the future in your company here. But here this card tells us that this increase of salary now that is about to come, and even more increase, this card tells us that it's not necessarily in our greatest good that we would earn a lot more. This card tells us to be doubtful about this. Regardless of what we earn, our annual salary, our monthly salary, what really improves our financial condition is the ability to adjust that we spend according to our income. An increase in salary will not necessarily have a positive effect if we proportionally increase our expenses, which unfortunately is often the case. On the other hand, if you have full authority over your expenses, we have learned an imperative, important lesson, and you have learned to limit yourself. So invest your efforts here in better management of daily expenses in relationship to your earnings. After you have this exercise well practiced and you know how to do this, you can then focus on an increase of more salary or more income. By doing so, you will have a much better chance here, this card tells us, for improving your overall situation. And even the next card, you will be able to make some savings, because we have the card of savings here. So it means if you balance in the right way, you are able to make some savings, because else this card would not be here. Anyway, this card tells us the most efficient and simple way to save money is to put that in an organized, systematic system. First, we need to decide a certain amount that we can miss, and we can incalculate this in our budget. It's like an investment that we make in ourselves on recurring basis. Mostly for most people, this is on monthly basis. So set up some automatic withdrawal. It goes from your working account into your from your business account in your savings account, and it's like an investment that you make in yourself. Anyway, it takes us in general 3 to 6 months to get used of these expenses, but actually it stays with you. And when you have assimilated this exercise, you can see if you can even adjustment, and you could end it even with various reserves for retirement, for your savings, for your children, whatever it is that you have in mind. It can also be a trip for the future that you have planned. Anyway, by regularly increasing these amounts over the year, you will quickly accumulate very important sums. This card tells us here. So set up your savings account and discipline yourself. Begin the virtuous circle, which will lead you towards more security and financial stability. So this is all, Cancer. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you have interest in the classic Lenormand card readings, you can find those also on my channel. These are more oriented on work and business. And then, of course, we have the spiritual, philosophical card readings that they are very good guides in life, and you can check them out. Also, we never know too much. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time, and also I want to thank you for subscribing. See you next time, Cancer. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Stone Group or the Earth Group for your financial philosophical card reading. As your first card here, we see the card that you are probably in for a promotion in your work. If not a promotion, you are about to receive certain bonuses or certain financial advancements here. Mostly this is related to a bonus. Maybe this is your annual bonus. Sometimes also it points that we receive money from people. Maybe this money that is receiving from your parents, maybe you get a gift from your parents. Anyway, it is that we are about to receive some money or a promotion. Anyway, here we see with this card, the question is not about receiving the money. The question that this card poses us is what you are about to do with this money. The problem is with these unexpected sums, because maybe this is unexpected, we tend to spend it before even it reaches our wallet. Sometimes it's for paying a credit card, sometimes it's paying for some expenses for our children. We calculated some budget in for our children, or it could be for a gift for your wife, or maybe you buy something for your husband, maybe a new telephone. Whatever it is here, probably you deserve it. But here we see if you receive advantages or salary increases, we tend to spend mostly more than actually the bonus or the additional money that is coming to us. And here this card wants you to think before spending this money here, and maybe it would be wise, instead of spending the money in advance or spending it all together, putting it from your business account or your working account into your savings account. And you just leave it there for 1 month. You just look at it. And it's not going to run nowhere. It's just going to stay there. And maybe after you take a break from spending it, you should take some time to do exactly what you want or how to use it in an optimal way. By avoiding the impulse of immediate spending, you could get an idea for the future, and maybe it gives you another perspective what to do with this money. The next card that we are seeing here is the card of our children. We all know that children are a beautiful wealth, but we also know they are expensive. The apple of our eye, it costs us dearly. And as with any budget item, if I may express it this way, there are essential expenses for them, but also less essential expenses for them. Sometimes here, it means that requests come from all sides and we tend to lose track of our head here. Sometimes here, we don't know anymore what to do. We cannot always say no, we cannot always say yes here, but this card asks you if you make the right investments in them. Do you invest in their education, in their culture, in their health? This is what this card asks us. Sometimes also, this is a card of following the trends of the moment. Are you following the current trends because you are under social pressure of the other parents, or are you not? Are you doing your own thing? So here we need to establish our priorities very well according to our own values, not according to trends, not according to their peers. We need to do here what we feel is best. Don't tell yourself stories because children sometimes have no limits when it comes to desires. We cannot generalize. Some children are different, but in general, it's difficult to satisfy their desires. Anyway, you know that some of them will not stop. As soon as they have received what they have requested, a new request is popping up. This card tells us to use your energy wisely and to use your money wisely regarding to them. Be sure if you say no or you make adjustments here, they will understand. Teach them financial priorities, because this is also teaching them financial priorities, and you will be better off if you teach them those priorities. The next card that we see here is the card of evolution. It means that evolution is part of life. Things change over the decades, they change over the years, and 2 decades are mostly not the same. Sometimes it's not even a decade. If we think back 2-3 years, we cannot imagine. It's like we had a different world 3 years ago. It's like pre-virus and the current world. So the world can change in a very short time, as we all experienced now. Anyway, coming back here, 20 years ago, for instance, it would have been unusual that you pay the amounts, for instance, for certain internet services. So our expenses, our needs are increasing, they are changing. So sometimes we must therefore eliminate what was essential in the past and which is today no longer important for us. For instance, if you no longer receive any calls on your landline, what is the purpose of this number? Maybe you should consider canceling it. If you catch yourself always watching broadcasts on the internet and you no longer use your TV channels, what is the purpose of the subscription? Maybe you can annulate it. This is also about magazines and, for instance, if we have a subscription on a certain magazine or on newspaper, we should consider here also, instead of for opting for the paper version, maybe we could go for the version online. And mostly if doing so, we save 30–40%. So we should review this monthly payments. Also, sometimes this is about internet banking and going with the current times. If you are still in traditional banking, we should consider here with this card going for internet banking. Most of us do already a lot at home, but this is about virtual banking, actually, this card for the future. Internet banks, if they have no physical location, and they are 100% internet banks, they tend to be very cheap. Just because of reason, they have no physical locations and they have no staff. That is the reason why they are so cheap. I know what you're thinking. Is this whole thing, this whole internet banking safe? Well, you should play a little bit police investigator. You should check out. And in most cases, these internet banks are closely connected or nephews of big companies, big banks. Even your own bank probably has some kind of nephew that they are 100% in banking. So you should check it out because it's worth the effort. Because even though if you're not a magician, you can save fairly easy 1,000 to 2,000 euro or dollar a year without actually doing a lot. Because we are aware every time we do an action, we pay for it. So you should consider here, if it's not better that you have the money yourself, then you add another branch to your bank. It's better that you have a porch of your own than you spend the money on your bank. Anyway, we should be wisely here. We should review our monthly payments here and ask ourselves questions and adjust to the current times. So Cancer, this is all for the Stone Group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit your role, check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you are interested in Lenormand card readings, the classic Lenormand card readings, we do those also. They are focused on work and business mostly. And then we do also the spiritual philosophical and psychological card readings, who are very good guides also, and they have also a lot of additional information for the month to come. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time, and I also thank you for subscribing. See you next time, Cancer. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Cancer, and welcome to the Matches or the Fire group for your philosophical financial card reading. As the first card here, we see the card of love. It means that we are deeply loved from the people around us, and we ourselves, we have a deep love for our children, for our friends, for our family, and maybe for our partner also, and we show our affection by spoiling them. Mostly Cancer has very deep feelings for their relatives. They are very close to their family. Sometimes also it points that we are generous. We go with them to the restaurant. We all do this for expressing our feelings of love towards. Sometimes also it's about gifts here. If there's a birthday coming up, probably we're searching for the rare pearl because we want to make their eyes shine once more. But remember, this card tells us, and you are aware of that, that love cannot be bought. And this card tells us, rather than shopping around in malls and thinking how to please your loved ones, you could actually give them the most expensive gift of all that costs you nothing. And this is giving them your time. So this card asks us to simply spend some quality time with your loved ones in private here. Show them your interest by valuing them for their time and not about money or presents. The best memories that we carry with us, and we are all aware does, or maybe not, will be or are related to anecdotes, past activities that we had with loved ones, and it doesn't come from a fleeting object or a toy. Anyway, this card tells us to be gentle with ourselves and see the positive effect if you spend more time with your loved ones. It will not only benefit you in the financial way, but it will also deepen out the relationship with those close to you. The next card is the heavy card of the deck. It could be that with this card, we are in severe financial problems, or maybe it is that we are on the edge here. What does this card tells us? Well, this card tells us probably that we have financial difficulties. Maybe we wake up in the night, we think about how to manage our finances here. It's possible that we are in certain deficits. If you are an independent, sometimes for independent people, this points that they are heading towards a bankruptcy. If you are, we first will do the independent persons here. If you are in a very difficult situation, sometimes this points that we are thinking about consulting a bankruptcy specialist. But if we do so, we should do more than only consulting a professional. We should carefully evaluate the choices that are offered to us, their advantages, their disadvantages, and you should make sure that you understand the impact of this process and it will have on your present and on your future. It will have consequences, and probably you will need to change your financial behavior radically, and also your consumption habits. For people who are private persons who are in service, in pay service, it could mean that somehow in their life there is a financial problem popped up due to circumstances or whatever it is. And maybe in a lot of communities we have social assistants who are taking care of people who are in financial problems, and you should consider talking to these people if you are in difficulties. Here we see if we are if we didn't reach that point here, the Saturnal point here, it means in any way that our financial worries are upon us. And here we are asked to make immediate modification of our behavior. If you don't modify your behavior, probably you will hit your head against the wall. This is quite a cruel card. So here we should think wisely what we do, because this card is not here for fun. It means something is going on. The next card that we are seeing here, maybe it's related to the next card here. This is the card of social pressure. We human beings, we compare ourselves constantly to our peers. We live in a community that determines our place in relationship to others. We operate, and we need to add also, we operate in a society of overconsumptions. And if we think about it, maybe your friends, neighbors, they're driving around in luxury cars, they're wearing nice designer clothes, they have the latest shoes, the latest gadgets. And sometimes maybe for your part, you are in a difficult situation and you're fighting through difficult times at the end of the month. And you ask yourself, how do these neighbors, friends, relatives, how do they manage these things? Well, this card tells you not to compare your financial situation to those people around you. We make choices every day, and you are the one responsible for these choices. Also, it tells us not to be let yourself influence by financial appearances, because appearances can deceive, they can fool you. So this card tells you to use your money wisely. Here, if it's about large amounts that you are obligated to spend, you can consider for buying, for instance, let's say you have a new laundry machine you need to buy. Instead of buying a new one, you can check out, for instance, websites that are specialized in articles that are very young or even new. Sometimes they are still packed with the warranty for buying things like that. we secure ourselves here, it doesn't mean discard that we need to buy problem things, but we should consider like young second-hand things. We should use our money wisely. And by doing so, you can balance yourself out also better here. Sometimes if we adjust ourselves a little bit in difficulties, we can manage ourselves better. Anyway, this card tells us, related to other people, what looks good on the outside is not always so. So live accordingly your own needs and your own abilities. So define yourself socially where you are. Your own accomplishments are much more important than designer clothes. So don't bend for social pressure from groups of friends, or even if your children put you under pressure for certain gadgets or certain trends, keep your distance here. We need to manage ourselves here with this reading. This is all, Cancer, for the fire group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit your role, check out the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you are interested in the classic Lenormand card readings, we do those also, and they are very focused on work and business or your work. Anyway, we do also spiritual philosophical card readings, and these are also available. They are very good guides if you are in some kind of trouble, and you can get a lot of information there also. Anyway, Cancer, I want to thank you for your time, and thank you for subscribing. See you next time, Cancer. Bye-bye for now.